to AEW Unrestricted, the official podcast of All Elite Wrestling. I am Aubrey Edwards here with my BFF, Will Washington. How you doing, Will?
I am doing great, Aubrey. This is, again, I'm always talking about it being a great time at AEW, and this is like no exception. I am feeling so good about the last couple of weeks of television and everything coming up on pay-per-view, and it's such a good time.
Speaking of exciting things, we are excited to announce that we now have Upper Deck on hand for our sponsor. And so they sent us fun stuff. We're going to open it up to gay. So shout out to our sponsor, Upper Deck. Get closer to the ring than ever before. Unwrap, which we're going to do. Unwrap your favorite AEW wrestling trading cards and build your collection today. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. Let's see what we got. They sent us this cool box. They also sent us these cool hats, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm always down for more hats. It actually fits my giant head, so I'm super stoked.
Blue box here. I'm gonna try to
let
my address get on the screen here, but
I definitely did the Sharpie thing. Like, did you get the same one? You got to see the video version of this podcast to really see what we got. Mine still has the plastic on it here. I'm gonna take this off. What do you see, Will? What do we got? Describe for our audio audience.
Yeah, we got a great dope box that's got Sky Blue, Darby Allin, MJF, Willow Nightingale, and Bryan Danielson on it.
What a fantastic group! Like,
what
my God,
amazing
all those
lineup
people
of
are
talent.
Wonderful. This is cool. This is one of those I don't know if you collected cards when you were a kid, but they have the cool little peel back thing.
Yeah.
So it's open it up on the front and then, look at this. Woo!
Right,
I'm excited. Go. I am excited. Let's go. What do we got? Opening up. I'm gonna open one of these. The card faces, the same as they are on the box. Same people, same wonderful people. Be on the lookout for autograph and memorabilia cards featuring AEW stars. Oh, this is cool.
Yep, 12 cards per pack.
Oh, this is so exciting. I love it. This also has our old logo, so I feel like this is even special collector's edition.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, these are dope. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna show off one of the ones I got today. Boom. Okay. Paul Turner.
Oh, Paul Turner. Oh, I love it.
It's freaking great. Look how awesome he looks. He's super serious in this. I just love it that they throw in the reps too. I know I've got cards. I didn't know I had cards until people started asking me to sign them, and I'm like, whoa, I have a card. These are awesome. Look at this. Oh my God. So Ref Paul Turner, born December 25th. True fact, he was born on Christmas. 1979, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Little back has little bios for everybody. One of the most seasoned officials in AEW. Also true. Paul Turner has seen just about all there is to see in the ring. Also true. Turner does not suffer shenanigans and is not scared of banning people from ringside. I absolutely love it.
Yes, I love it. The card I'm going to go with, it actually is one of my favorite things we do in AEW, but it is a Technique by Taz card, taking a look at Chris Statlander. And the Technique by Taz cards actually have quotes from Taz about a specific talent. And so if you get yourself a Technique by Taz card, make sure to give that your attention here, because here, Chris Statlander, Taz states, early in her AEW career, I deemed Chris Statlander a future champion, and like we saw at Double or Nothing in 2023, it didn't take long for that to come true.
Oh, man. That was such a good match.
Taz. Yes.
Oh, this is so great. Shout out to Upper Deck. We're going to be showing off these cards in a bunch of future episodes of the podcast. We're going to be talking about them. Lots of memorable moments at AEW. And if you want to be reminded of all these awesome, memorable moments at AEW, definitely check them out. Get some cards, collect them, trade them with your friends. If you show up and see us, we'll sign them and stuff. It's freaking cool.
Yes, of course. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. And we've got a great show today. I always love when we get to have the type of guests that give us kind of a behind-the-scenes peek at the things that happen here in AEW. And I think we're going to have a great conversation about that right here on Unrestricted.
Today's guest, I am very, very thrilled to have. I particularly am just always thrilled to have any backstage employees on, because I feel like that is the heart and soul of what makes AEW function. on the weekly basis that it does. Yeah, we've got a lot of awesome wrestlers and on-screen talent and whatnot, but really it's the guys and gals behind the scenes that don't get the love that they deserve. So I love that we get to do this on our show, and I'm very excited to have Ryan Loco on our show today. How you doing, buddy?
I am great. So honored to be here. I've seen the list of people you've had on, and it's very, very impressive. So the fact that I even made the cut, I'll take it.
Hey now, buddy. So for people who are unfamiliar, you're a photographer with AEW.
Yes. So I am basically we have two squads, I guess you would say, for photography. We have the Dynamite crew and the Collision crew, the Colliders. And so it roughly consists of a studio guy, ringside, and then hard cam, float around, shoot some cool stuff person. So for Dynamite, you have Speedy, the legend Lee South, and myself. And then for Collision, we got Ricky Havoc, the man they call Brainbuster, and Scott Lesh. So, but we're all sort of interchangeable. Team. We're like little puzzle pieces, so we can all pick up the slack for each other.
I love it.
Well, I mean, the interchangeable somewhat diminishes the work that you guys do and some of the uniqueness of the work you guys do. Like, I know a Scott Lesh photo when I see a Scott Lesh photo, and I know your work when I see your work. And I think that's what makes the team so cool, is the fact that everybody brings something unique. No?
Yeah, absolutely. By interchangeable, I mean, like, the show's not going to fall apart. Like, we can call each other and sub in. But no, the nice thing is that we all have our own unique eye, and we bring that to each show. And so it sort of gives a different perspective. So it's really cool because you could literally have three of us shooting the exact same match, and you'll have three different images sort of telling a completely, not different story because we know the story, but just a different aspect of it, which is actually really cool. I'd love it.
That's one of the things I really like is we have this little app that after a show airs, all of the photos that you guys take get sent to us so we can use them for social and whatnot. And they kind of come in waves. Like, these ones are from Lee South. These ones are from Ryan Loco. And I sort of wait until all of them come in, just because, as you did say, there's like the same photo, but from different angles. It tells a completely different story, even though it's all the same moment happening at once. Is there a sort of role that you enjoy filling on this team?
I would say my favorite part is usually on pay-per-view days, because that usually is Ryan run around and just get whatever you want, get whatever you can, really. And I just think our pay-per-views are unmatched in my opinion. Those are just, the experience. I suggest everyone in the world needs to come to one for a live pay-per-view. It's out of this world. But just being able to, hey, Bryan Danielson's coming out, and this is, might be his last ever entrance. So it's like trying to think, like, how can I shoot this to differentiate it from any other entrance that he's ever done? And knowing like the moments that are able or that are possible to come, and for Sting's last match, and like just the energy in that arena for a pay-per-view, it like elevates all of our games. I think for everyone, really. I think for everyone in the ring and in the back, like, we really step up, and it's just great to step up to the occasion and be able to deliver for those things.
So what initially got you interested in photography? Where did the background come from?
So I wanted to be a documentary filmmaker. My plan was to travel around the world and make little short films and make enough money to have food to go to whatever the next couch that I was going to sleep on and continue that.
I like that you assumed the couch sleeping. That's a very realistic take.
Listen, I was completely prepared to live off a backpack and like ramen. So 100%. But what happened was I was doing a lot of MMA stuff, documenting MMA athletes. And while I was there filming, I would take photos randomly. And I had no plans to ever be a photographer. I did not want to be a photographer. I had professional photographer friends who tried to teach me stuff, and I would tell them, no, please stop trying to show me things. There's only so much space in this brain, so I cannot have it be taken up by photography. I am a video guy. But as it started to go along and I had this access, because this was years before now everyone has their own photographer. Every MMA camp has a photographer and a videographer. So I had this access, and everyone now has a phone. So I had this access that I thought it was silly of me to not take advantage of it. So I started taking photos just on a whim. And then all of a sudden, magazines wanted the photos, websites, ESPN, things like that. And so I was like, well, I need to take advantage of this because I need to try to make as much money as possible. So eventually it was 75-25, and then it was 50-50, and then it was 25-75. And then it pretty much, photography just took over my entire life. And also editing video. I don't know if you guys have ever done it. No, I'm good.
No,
doing it for other people too. Like editing video for yourself is one thing, but doing it for other people.
Shout out to our Nashville team, because that's pretty much what they do a lot, all the time.
They do it like this, which
they
is
do it
insane.
fast.
My God, the turnarounds, like the fact that an hour before Dynamite, I can be like, hey, I need this package. And I have the package, and it turns out exactly as I envisioned. Right. And to think about,
insane.
Yeah, that's but at the same time, I agree with you that video editing, when it's not your own vision, is somewhat of a nightmare scenario that I commend anybody who's good at, because that's not for me.
100%.
But then I guess that begs the question: is there a particular photo that kind of stood out to you that made you realize, you know what, this is it, this is what I'm good at?
That I've taken? No, yes. I don't. No, there's not. I don't.
There's nothing you shot that really just stood out to you and made you go, okay, I think I can do this more.
No. So the problem, one, I don't like any photo I've ever taken. I think because the
you
problem
sound just like a wrestler.
Because I feel like, and it's probably true for all of the different things we do, is like I look at it and then I go, here's what I could have done differently, or here's what I wish I would have done differently. And so while other people are looking at it and going, this looks incredible, all I'm thinking is, man, I should have been 2 feet over, or I wish I should have included this part, and things like that. So that's what kills me. So for me to be like, that's the one, I also then don't want it to be like, well, that's it, that's the one, I can't get any better. Like I need to always have something to keep me going, And so I have lots of photos that I think, hey, those are pretty cool. Like, what Hangman did to our good buddy Swerve's house. I think that's
we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Yeah, I want to talk about that whole day.
Darby's dive at Revolution for Sting's last match. That was a pretty cool photo. I'm not going to lie. It was one of the few times where I think, I don't know, maybe there's footage of it, but in my head, I feel like I took the photo and then went just a shocked face, because
that was all of us.
I'm not the smartest person. I did not realize that it was just glass. I thought it was a glass on top of a table. I wasn't paying attention. So when you realize there was nothing catching him, he's insane. Absolutely insane. Made my photo look cool though, but he's insane.
Absolutely insane. Oh my God. So how did you go from MMA to wrestling then?
Well, I've been a wrestling fan my entire life. Like growing up, like it was LA Rams football. I grew up in LA. So it was LA Rams football or pro wrestling was on my television. And I got linked up with a small indie in Southern California called SoCal Pro. And I did this little mini documentary on one of their matches. It was a hair versus mask match. And it was just my first ever peek behind the curtain. And I just fell in love with that aspect of it. And I fell in love with the showmanship, and I fell in love with the camaraderie, and also just like, and it's a silly thing, but I love that everyone shook hands and everyone helped put the ring together. Like I just thought like that was just such a cool little aspect, And so from there, I just started shooting whatever small shows I could find that were local. I ran into one of the Headbangers, so I did one of their local shows that they were here when they were in Florida. And it just sort of snowballed from there. And what was really cool is that these shows give me all the emotion and like the high flying that I would hope to somehow get out of MMA. They're doing it on purpose, and so it just makes my images look 10 times better. Almost makes it look like I know what I'm doing. So,
and so how did that road ultimately lead you to AEW?
Just from having mutual friends, and you guys came to Sunrise 2.5 years, something like that. I'm the worst.
Sunrise, that would have just been April of 23.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Will knows everything. Surprise.
I'm gonna say yes, 1,000%. I have no idea. what is it, 2023? So a year, 2024. Yes, you're right. Wow, that's terrible. I don't even know that, and I was there, and I live here.
Yeah, that was kind of the day that changed your life, and Will remembers it more than you.
That was the week before I started. That's
oh wow.
There's a reason that one stands out to me is because I was Baltimore May 3rd, the following Dynamite. So then Sunrise, Florida would have been the week before that.
Wow. So yeah, I reached out to Speedy, and I was just like, hey man, you guys are in town. If you need someone to shoot some extra stuff, like I'll hop down. I don't care you don't even need to pay me. Like it's just something for me to do bored on a Wednesday. I'm down. And so went and shot a bunch of BTS photos. People really dug them. They were sharing them on social media that evening, and they were like, hey, we actually will keep in touch. And then there was, hey, we might have this other show coming on, so we're going to need another squad. And so that's how it led to me getting signed on and being part of the OG Collider crew.
Ooh, love it. Oh man, this is a good conversation. I'm enjoying learning so much about our photography team. We've got more coming up here on AEW Unrestricted after the break.
Unrestricted. AEW Unrestricted. It's Aubrey and Will. We're talking with Ryan Loco of our photography team at AEW, and of course, being a part of taking photos of some of the coolest things to happen in AEW. You get to be around some of the cool stuff that we get to do. And one of the days I spent almost the whole afternoon with you through the evening was a couple months ago. A man by the name of Hangman Adam Page torched his arch nemesis Swerve Stickland's childhood home, burned it to the ground.
Is that a strong enough word?
Yes. And that was a day, because there was so much going on that day, and the fact that he had to burn down a house, like this was a thing. And I was there, you were there, and Mike Mansuri, and then of course Hangman Adam Page to burn down the house, and I remember you and I, we went across the street, and it was this little mom and pop shop. Because we just needed something to eat. You ended up getting the what was it, the Cajun boiled peanuts? Was that it?
Boiled peanuts.
My
first time ever getting them. I was just like, I'm here. I got to get them.
Yeah, and then I did the Georgia peaches, and because I was like, oh, why not? But the fun of that was that everybody around was like, what are you guys doing over there? Because everybody was just curious why there's why there are fire trucks nearby, like what could possibly be going on here, what is about to happen here. And but again, knowing that, setting up for things like this, and essentially knowing that you're going to capture something as monumental as a house on fire, like, how do you get in the mindset of making sure that you're going to capture the moment here? Because there weren't multiple takes of this. This is a one-time thing. This is a we even thought at points where, like, oh, what if the flame goes out when he lights the match, and it went the first time, and that was it. There was no second take of that. But again, it's one of those things where, with professional wrestling, with anything like that, in the moment you're not going to get a second shot at it. And so how do you get in the mindset of that?
I mean, for me, it's pretty much nonstop checking, like memory cards in there, batteries on, batteries smart. Full, all this different thing. And because it's like you said, like during an event, like I know I have 2 or 3 extra people there that, heaven forbid I miss it, someone got it, or someone got an angle of it, and vice versa. Everything was on me as far as photo wise. And so, and also for the video team as well, like everything is on them as well. We have one shot at this, and if the thing is blurry, or if a cable gets knocked out or something like that, you've literally ruined everything, because we can't do this again. So it's definitely it's definitely nerve-wracking. We're fortunate now for cameras to have such a high frame rate that I could shoot 30, 40 frames per second, and I am not a fan of doing that normally, but for this, I just held the button down and I was like, I need to get something, because if I cannot miss, I was just praying. And then the second thing is, afterwards, then hoping like, got to get the memory card, got to get all the files onto the laptop. So that way I have both, like on the memory card and the laptop, because heaven forbid somehow on the car ride back to the hotel, like, I'd come home and the card's corrupted or, so it's extremely nerve wracking. That was a crazy day. The boiled peanuts were actually really good. That was the first time I ever ate a peach like a normal person. Like I usually would like
peach.
Yeah, like actually like bit into a peach. I can't believe that. Like usually it's just like in a fruit cup or something. I take one, like whatever. But I feel like I had to have an actual official Georgia peach,
But
yeah, I think for
peaches and houses on fire.
Yeah, normal whatever day that was. I'm sure knows exactly what day it is, but I don't remember.
I do. I'm not going to give that magic away, but I will say that in that moment, and I think you felt the same way, I thought Hangman was going to catch on fire. I like that.
For real? So I am in front of Hangman taking these photos, and the fire gets to a point where I'm like, I might have to move. Like, this is too much for me. Like, this is very, like, really, really hot. And then you realize he is feet in front of me, closer. Flames are hitting him.
And he is just holding perfectly still. He did not flinch. He just had this badass look, sitting in this chair, the drink in his hand, not moving whatsoever. Honestly, one day, I have a cell phone video. You've seen it, Aubrey, of the side view, because I don't think our TV captured how close he was to those flames. And like I saw people going, "Oh, it's a green screen. Oh, they did that." No, we absolutely did not.
The fact that Hangman has hair is a miracle.
Yes, I said to him, props for the Hangman he commonly douses his hair in water, and that's a big thing that probably protected his head when those flames went up.
That upped my respect for. I mean, I didn't have respect for him, but I'm saying that like. The respect I have for Hangman just went up even more, because when you realize that, like you said, the TV didn't do it justice. Like, I feel like he was a foot away from just poof. Like,
he could have just reached out and touched the flame. It was so.
Yes. But when you are that dedicated to sticking it to your arch nemesis, when you are that dedicated, when you are dedicated, yes, when you are a next level hater like that, you will do what you have to do to burn a man's home down.
All right. So on that topic, one of my favorite parts about this, like the package airs, immediately your photos start coming out. They're getting spread everywhere. And I think the next level of that, which I didn't expect, but was totally awesome, was at All Out in Chicago. Swerve shows up in this new gear that literally has your photos on his gear. Yeah. Like, what was that like, seeing someone wearing your photos on such a quick turnaround?
Yeah, that was one of the coolest things like ever for me. Like, I've been such like a wrestling nerd my whole life. And while it's a gift to be able to do this every week and be a tiny, tiny little part of wrestling history, I felt like that was what sort of like solidified one tiny little moment of me being there. You know what I mean? Like, there, like, for sure, no matter what, all the photos could be erased. Like, that match will live on, and so my photo on his gear will live on. And then just recently, Bryan Danielson had one of my photos, as well as
on his jacket,
Speedy's photos and Brainbuster's photos on his jacket. Yeah. And so I was like, what are the, like, I'm the luckiest person in the world, like 2 times in 1 year, like to be part of that. And I think we're all so lucky to be small parts of this incredibly fun machine that, this fun ride that we're on. And like, I don't know, I think that I appreciate it now, but I'm sure like, once eventually, everything ends and I'm 85 and can no longer hold a camera or whatever, like look back and be like, holy crap, like that was nuts. But yeah, seeing Swerve's gear was mind blowing. And then like to see it on TV, like seeing it on person is one thing, but actually see it on TV, cause like I went back and rewatched it. I don't know about you guys, like if it's different, like versus being there to then go home and watch it and be like, it sort of changes things. So that makes it more as weird as that sounds, it makes it more real, even though like you're there in the flesh, but seeing it on television makes it more real. I don't know. It's weird.
No, I completely understand that. And I think even Aubrey, you can probably attest to the idea of like, you've been a part of some of the coolest moments in AEW history, but then like actually seeing it is like,
even if it's not one of those like massive, like this is a cool moment, but like cool things that meant it like a lot to you in the moment. Like, for example, I did the match with Ricochet and AR Fox, and there's this one moment where a kick out happens, and if I don't move, I'm literally going to be flattened by a man, and I have to do this like alligator roll real quick. And it's like tiny little thing, but then in the moment, I'm like, oh, I want to watch that on the replay because that's going to be cool. Like, it's small and insignificant, I think, to most people, but it's impactful for you because this is something that we do every week over and over again and can have, the ability to get repetitive. And you have to find those moments where they're like, this really freaking cool thing happened and I will never, ever lose this. Like someone wore my picture on their body. How freaking cool.
And it's like such a credit, because with last week's episode too, like such a credit to our design team, our costume, our wardrobe team for what they do. And it's just the amazing that, I've walked in the halls where like there's a match in 45 minutes and someone's like, hey, do this.
Yeah. Just fix
this
gear.
That's what I love. I just love how much like it's such a group effort what we do, from everyone, from makeup to wardrobe to lighting to sound to our camera people, everything. It is just music. Like, it's just so cool to be a small part of it and to know like every piece has to fit for all of us to be able to do our jobs correctly. It's awesome.
We are truly a team, and that is in everybody plays their part in making this team effort in putting on this show. And that is the thing that I love the most is every Wednesday and every Saturday we all gather, and it's like, we spend the other 5 days throughout the week doing whatever else, but then this team gathers these 2 days a week and we make magic happen. And I think that's a really cool thing.
I think that like I've been like backstage where someone's about to go out and like their jacket's like the collar's off, and you seeing anyone jump in to be like, oh, let me fix that because I want you to look your best when you go out there because it makes all of us look better. Like, it's just such a cool feeling, like to be part of something where like we all feel like we have a stake in it and we all have done something to get the show to where it is. And like when 8:00 hits, like we had a little tiny piece of that. And I think that's what's awesome. I love just being a part of that family. And I love trying to tell everyone that when they come to a show, when they watch on television, like I promise you, every single person that you see either on screen or off screen, we have done everything possible to make sure you have the best time for those 2 hours.
There is a lot of pride in everyone's work here. That's the thing that I just consistently see. Like your example of like someone fixing somebody's collar, like absolutely that happens with every little thing that you could imagine. It's so great. God, I love this conversation. All right, we got to take another quick break, but then we've got more with Ryan here on AEW Unrestricted. AEW Unrestricted, Aubrey and Will talking to Ryan Loco, one of our amazing photographers at All Elite Wrestling. We've been talking about memorable shots involving fire, memorable moments involving gear, and then stories and history and all this sort of stuff. And it's been really great. And I love getting these behind the scenes sneaks on stuff. I'm curious because I know that with you guys, because we have the same stage setup, we have the same lighting, everything's sort of positioned the same. Is there anything that's sort of like different from venue to venue that you either look forward to or try to incorporate differently in what it is you do?
Yeah, so for me, most of the time I'll be shooting from the hard cam position is what we call it, which is directly what you see on television. And the thing that kills me is when we go to a venue that does not have floor access from that position. Because I like to be able to go to the floor, and if I know like, oh, this entrance is happening or this match, this main event, I want to document it in a different way. So I need to get to the floor. And there is no worse feeling than going into the venue, walking in, and I look, and then it's just like a balcony. And it's like, there's no way I can do this. So that really, really kills it. And then also if catering's too far away, it kind of bums me out. My catering's on a different floor.
Oh
That
yeah,
kind of-
when you have to take the elevator?
We had that this
no.
week. Yeah, with the second floor catering.
Stockton.
I know I sound like a diva, but that is a killer. Because,
I mean, when you're on your feet all day and you're running around trying to get like memory cards delivered, like you don't know when you're going to get a chance to eat. And even then, if you grab a to-go box and you put it somewhere, it's like, when are you going to get a chance to go and eat that? Like managing
100%.
when you consume food is a big part of your day.
Wintrust Arena is one with the second floor catering. And like, I love that arena. It's a great arena when it comes to like everything else. I think it's got all the nice amenities, and like the thing you mentioned of like floor access is really great in that arena in Chicago. But like
Wintrust is awesome.
second floor catering, man.
it's a killer. And then Lee will tell you that when sometimes we have to go to a venue where the show is flipped. And so
Pittsburgh,
and also Orlando. Pittsburgh and Orlando are the two. Yeah.
that is just it throws everybody off because you have your routine, you know exactly I'm going to pan this way. And then all of a sudden now, if you're on ringside, cameraman is now on your left versus on your right, and they're coming. So that is one of those things that you just are so discombobulated, and it just doesn't feel right. Like it just feels off. I don't know for you, if you're like so used to like getting in the ring and then looking to the right as they come in, and now nope, switch it around.
I've definitely come out in Pittsburgh and just had my butt facing hard camera and then had someone radio and going, it's the other way. And I'm like, and flip around. Or like having the refs communicate back and forth, like where the tag corners actually are. Because all of a sudden we're in a different spot. It's like, okay, well, is the jib camera in a different spot? Like, where's our babyface corner? Where's our heel corner? Like, are the neutral corners the same? Is it just rotated? Is it flipped? Like,
everything's flipped. The tunnels are flipped, and literally, we'll see fans on social media going like, "Did this person suddenly turn heel?
This person
coming
turned
out?
heel."
Yeah, because they're suddenly coming out of
just
the
Pittsburgh.
heel tunnel. No, it's just Pittsburgh.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't even know which tunnel's which. So still,
The babyface one is where you see the face of the person when they walk out.
Got it.
So that means that they would come out of the right side of your screen.
If you're looking at the stage, it's the right side. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Again,
Now you know.
For someone who literally does it every week, I have no clue.
I learned stuff from our interview with Excalibur, so don't feel like you're the only one.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. I think it's because for me at least, there's certain autopilot things, that happen where like I don't need to pay attention because I know, like, you just know. Like when you do this every week, some people twice a week, like, which is absolutely insane. You just know things, and so like I have limited space in here, so I push out as much as possible.
Well, so one of the things I wanted to ask you about is style of photography, and specifically kind of the aftermath, and what goes into deciding, once you've taken a photo into. You a Lightroom guy? What do you normally use?
It's a mix of it. Lightroom, Photoshop, Capture One, just depends on the day. But yes, all those.
So, going into the artistic side of it and making certain decisions, like what goes into deciding this makes a good black and white photo, this makes, or the way you would highlight certain things. What goes into those decisions?
Usually it's just a matter of, the match itself and like what the story was being told. And if this is a bloody war, then, we sort of have to highlight and showcase, what they went through in order to, to get that point across. Lots of times black and white is done when lighting is really bad and you're just trying to hide it. Like, or if we have like multiple colors coming through, like,
did not know that.
I mean, there's certain things like, with the current Moxley and crew, I like to do all their stuff in black and white. I just feel like it fits them. It's more gritty, and it just feels like ominous to have them in black and white for everything behind the scenes. But otherwise, yeah, usually if you see a black and white photo, especially like backstage, it's just because we had crap lighting and we couldn't find like a cool light. So we'll just fake it, make it look
it's the venue's
better.
fault.
Black and white. Yeah, it actually is the venue's fault, to be honest with you. They're using these lights from so old that just
1960s fluorescence. Really,
but it's like,
really
like with like with Bryan, you especially his last match is like you're trying to show like his struggle because there were so many moments in that match. He was so expressive with his face and like the reaching out moments and just like, it's hard because I'm photographing it at the same time. Like there's a part of me that's a wrestling fan that almost like has to take a step back for a split second. Like, oh my God, like what is happening? This is crazy. And then you got to snap right back into it. Same thing with Sting's last match. It was this weird thing of like, I need to do my job, but at the same time, I want to be a wrestling fan just for a minute to like really soak in this moment and appreciate like everything we're seeing. Like when he beat on his chest, like, I mean, how did everyone in that arena, we all were just little kids again. Like it was just the coolest thing ever. And rewatching it, I did it again. I knew it was happening. Like I knew it was going to happen. I've rewatched it multiple times and I still, every time, like that feeling of like, oh my, and that's what makes wrestling just the coolest thing in the world. It's just like these incredible people telling these incredible stories right in front of your eyes in person. And it's just, you get spoiled every week. So
what was that day like for you at Revolution?
Oh, so that was like, so Brainbuster was on Sting Watch. That was all his job. His entire job. His entire job from when he got to the arena was you go wherever Sting goes. And I'm sure Sting, you know, bless his heart, probably loved Brainbuster for 20 minutes. And then after that was like, what is this guy doing? Like, can I have him? Like, but that was his job. I mean, like his photos are incredible from that day. Like just being able to see the moment with his kids and everything, you know, backstage and getting to walk through the tunnel and just the moments afterwards as well. You know, it was just, that was such a special day. And to be a part of it is just still mind blowing to me. And I feel like I was actually thinking about it last week. I don't know. All right. I don't know how many people that Coliseum held.
Wait. Sorry. You're talking about Greensboro. Greensboro is the largest privately owned arena in America. Of course. And so I want to say, so roughly, I don't remember. Yeah. So either way, I don't know. Either way, it was tens of thousands. It was definitely like one of our most attended this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to know that that's the amount of people that got to be in that building and see it live, like in the world.
I mean, look, one of my close friends, and I think she's just continuing to chase that high. But Revolution was actually the first show she had ever attended. First wrestling show.
Oh, she's screwed.
But you know what the beauty is? She's been to like 10 of our shows since. And the fact is, like, again, I think it's just chasing the high of Revolution because it was just such a feeling. But I give her credit. She was at Grand Slam, and she just had a blast with Grand Slam. And it's just been like anything she could try to hit in the Northeast, and now she's going to full gear. And it's literally like, you know what? Since then, the Revolution, thinking about that night, like for all of us longtime wrestling fans and the way that it you know, it encapsulated so much of what we loved about professional wrestling. But the fact that it could also take somebody who hadn't experienced it yet and made them go, oh, this is what it's all about. This is what people have been talking about all these years. God, I need to be in this. I need to be a part of this. And like, now that I don't think that's going to be a hard night to top. Like Tony talks about that night a lot because it is one of those nights that was just, I think, magic for every single person involved.
Everybody.
Yeah, it was. Right. It's up. Oh, sorry, but it's definitely it's up. Yeah, it's up there. It's probably top 2. I'd say the first Wembley show, just because that was just such a crazy experience. And the day before, being in Wembley when it's empty and just like standing in the middle of it and like looking up and realizing like what's going to you're wearing the London shirt, you know, and again, I've been so fortunate just because of AEW and pro wrestling to have these crazy cool moments. And it's so cool to be able to share it with so many people too. You know, that's what makes it even better. It's like, it's not me on an island. Like I had all my homies with me in Wembley. I got all my homies with me at Revolution. It's awesome.
It's really great listening to this because Will asked you about like your experience at Revolution and you immediately started talking about one of your buddies, which I love because it just kind of indicates like how close you guys are and how much you respect each other's craft. And that's really, really special. But since you're on the topic of Wembley, I wanted to ask, like, How is shooting an event like Wembley different than shooting anything like a Dynamite or a Collision?
So it's the surface area. It is so big, and there are so many people on the floor, and so there's so many more spots for me to get in people's way. So I like do my biggest thing is I don't want to block any fans when I'm taking a photo. Like I want them to have the full experience. I don't want them to go home and be like, I missed this because the idiot photographer was in my way. So there's a whole lot of that, and then there's just so much ground to cover. Like for people that weren't there, like getting from backstage to the ring. I mean, my step count was unbelievable. And then there's like security fences and so many different things you have to go through. So that's the biggest thing. The thing that you're not prepared for is just the distance and just like thinking. I did not even get to shoot the Ospreay MJF match because I was too busy having to send files from the match before to get to backstage to do something. By the time I was done, I was like, there's no point. I'm not going to get anything. So it's kind of crazy. Like I was looking through files because, we get requests all the time because they need media stuff for social and things. And I had nothing from that match. And I was like, oh, that's right. Because I was the idiot just running backstage.
Just dropping off memory cards.
Just running memory cards or like trying to get stuff out or like trying to get things ready because as soon as that's over, we also have a press conference that we got to get to. And so it's like, I need to take photos of the press conference, but at the same time, I don't want to depend on hotel Wi-Fi to upload these images. So I want to get as many images done as I can while I'm here at the venue still. And then also, hey, what's going to be open for food? So I need to figure out, should I run to catering one more time and get something?
Also, I got to get on a flight at 5 a.m. So I got to get this all done fast so that I can get back to my hotel and shower.
What am I doing? Yeah, is the bus actually going to come to take us to the airport? Spoiler alert, the bus is not coming to take you to the airport. So everyone has to get Uber. So now you have 40 different people all requesting Uber from one single spot to try to get to the airport. Awesome.
Wembley.
Thank you, London.
Wembley in a nutshell.
That's Wembley.
Yeah. I'm now recalling almost all of that experience, especially the food experience of like thinking about, what am I going to do? How am I going to eat? And, but again,
although, to be fair, Wembley's food is on the first floor. So,
Yes.
Oh, Wembley catering. Top notch.
Yeah.
Top notch.
And it was right off of Gorilla too. So it was like, it was actually much easier to get to this year than it was
especially
the
for
first
you.
year.
And the best part was this year, they did not require the ticket.
Oh, my God, yes.
So you couldn't go back and get snacks. You had to do it all in one go. At least this year, you could actually go back and just grab whatever you wanted. So that was really nice. But then the other thing is that everything closed. So if you didn't get anything, like that Five Guys, which is where pretty much everyone went, was like 10:59, time to go.
This is the real behind the scenes shit where we're just like, okay, you want to know what wrestling's really like? It's like 12:59 at night trying to find a place to eat.
I try to tell people, listen, I have the best job in the world. I am extremely blessed. It's fantastic. Some people actually have to work for a living, so I take pride in this. However, sometimes that getting on that plane and then landing and it's 10:30 at night and you're in whatever city and the Uber Eats doesn't even work, so you are eating, your dinner is a hotel like Snicker bar or a top ramen and a Diet Coke, don't get me wrong. It's a great life, but there's certain aspects, or because I'm sure all you guys test, I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'll book the first flight out because I just want to be home. That's the smartest idea in the world, right? I can't wait. And then you realize you get back to the hotel, it's 1 a.m. and like, do I go to bed for 90 minutes? Nope. What do I do? Yeah.
It's the question every week, do I go to bed? Anyway.
You being like, you're insane. I don't know how you do it.
I often don't take the first flight out.
Because we were, in Seattle for Wrestle Dream and everything like that. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. I don't want to work
Everyone
this
with
show
their cross-country
ever
flights. Like, it's when people complain about having layovers to me that always gets me. It's like, oh, I had a layover. And I'm like, okay. And that's bad? Yeah, because I had to take 2 flights today. Are you looking for sympathy? Because they keep going down.
I will top all of this, though, because I am a guy who always tries to get the first flight out. But I'm also, because of the team I'm a part of,
You're at the
always
venue
the last to leave the building.
You are
Always
the
the last to leave the building.
last
And
person.
so
Very
because
last.
I'm always at the building from like I think last week was a 3 a.m. week. After Wrestle Dream was definitely like it was like 3 a.m. And my flight was at like 5. And so it just came a point of, do I even go get that hour of sleep that I think I'm going to get? Probably not.
Not worth it.
So I know those feelings. But Ryan, this has been a great conversation. It has been great having you here on the show.
This is the most real conversation we've had on this podcast in a while.
A great little peek behind the scenes at AEW. And again, it's always just awesome to hear from members of our team that people don't realize are helping make our product happen. So thank you for being a part of the show today.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for letting me be a part of this family. I love it.
All right. You can listen to and follow this podcast, AEW Unrestricted, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and check out the video episodes on YouTube, on our YouTube channel at AEW Unrestricted. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Get closer to the ring than ever before. Unwrap your favorite AEW wrestler trading cards and build your collection today. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more. And don't forget, AEW Dynamite on TBS, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. AEW Rampage on TNT, Friday nights at 10 p.m. AEW Collision live every Saturday on TNT. ROH streams every Thursday on Honor Club. I'm Aubrey Edwards with my BFF, Will Washington. Thank you so much for listening. Peace.